welcome Mahesh Tyagarajan.
Hello, everyone. Excited to talk to all of you. And personally, I think we're living in a very exciting time when it comes to technology and the tectonic changes that are happening, especially with generative AI. And it's particularly a very exciting time for developers as you start thinking about infusing AI into your applications. But what does it take to do it? What platform or languages or choices do you have? Before we dive into it, I want to talk about what are intelligent applications. Intelligent applications are apps that use data and AI to improve business outcomes by a significant order of magnitude. And they're very, very critical as we talk to you, as we talk to our customers. It's very critical for you to compete, leverage your data, and compete in this fast-paced, data-driven economy. And to build intelligent applications, we believe you need access to the latest and greatest technologies really, really fast. And we believe there are three pillars that fundamentally Oracle can provide to make your journey to building intelligent apps great. The first is the flexible infrastructure. Second is fundamental innovation in languages and tools. And lastly, giving you built-in AI that makes it possible for you to bring it into your apps. Let's dive into flexible infrastructure. If you take a step back and think about the foundational principles that we had at Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, we want to solve for both traditional and cloud-native applications. It was very clear to us that a significant portion of your portfolio was still there, but you still needed the latest and the greatest technologies. That made us question every single fundamental assumption that existed in the cloud. Why should a computer have 1:15 core-to-memory ratio? Why can't it be flexible? Why can't a computer have 1 core and 7 gigs of RAM? Who decided that? So that forced us to think about and build out flexible infrastructure that hundreds of customers are leveraging and saving millions of dollars. We were the first cloud to envision the idea of giving a bare metal computer to all of our customers. We built a non-blocking network that starts giving performance guarantees in our network for workloads. We made it possible to build L2 network virtualization that brought all of your VMware workloads into our cloud, powering the next generation of apps that need to be next to the old apps. We're the first to build RDMA cluster networking in our network and on the way to building the biggest supercluster that has existed in the world, powering AI and ML workloads, and doing all of that with built-in security. So you need an infrastructure that is built for the next generation of workloads to drive your intelligent apps, and that's what we're doing at Oracle. And we have a complete cloud platform. We have over 100+ services in all of our cloud regions, 45+ commercial regions, and another 20 government and other regions for serving sovereign nations. And as developers, you get access to 20+ always free cloud services that you could try for yourself, and a free trial with $300 credits to try, and we have a plethora of choices and services for developers to try. That's great, we have a platform, but let's talk about the future and how you build these apps. It is clear that the next generation of apps are built with microservice architecture, and from looking at Gartner, it's clear that by 2027, more than 90% of global organizations are going to use containers. And Kubernetes has become the de facto standard for container workloads. So I'm just going to give you a quick walkthrough of the choices that Oracle offers to bring your container workloads and build the next generation of intelligent apps. And today, 100+ Oracle Cloud services run on Kubernetes. Thousands of our customers use millions of cores on Oracle Kubernetes offerings already. And when we look at these choices, it ranges from complete control to all the way to giving you great agility and operational efficiency. First offering is OK with self-managed nodes, where Oracle takes care of running the control planes, but you're still responsible for bringing the computer. And today, we're announcing support for RDMA cluster networking with our Kubernetes layer. Second is OK with managed nodes, where Oracle provisions your node pools, but you still have complete control over your node pools and manage the infrastructure. Third is a complete serverless option where Oracle takes care of all of the infrastructure management when it comes to Kubernetes. And today, we're announcing ARM support on our serverless OKE offering. Further, security and compliance with cloud-native workloads has become a key need. As Kubernetes continues to evolve, we need to keep up with the security standards. And today, we're announcing OKE with container governance, where you can leverage CloudGuard to enforce your security and compliance posture on your Kubernetes environments. And it'll come with out-of-the-box recipes with standard best practices that Oracle will guide you to run your Kubernetes workloads. And that's not all. We're also announcing the capability to leverage Kubernetes, but with managed namespaces and profiles, where you literally do not have to think about clusters. It's completely managed. You don't have to worry about it. And lastly, for customers who want to have a containerized workload, but want to leverage container instances for scale out or stateless capabilities like functions, we have that as well. And today, we're announcing ARM support for both container instances and functions. If you take a look at all of the choices that I walked through, it started from giving you the most amount of control for advanced customers who have lots of talent with Kubernetes, all the way down to choices that makes it easy for you to innovate with containers on our cloud. And we were the first cloud that contributed and certified etcd on ARM and contributed back to the Kubernetes community. And we're the first cloud to support ARM on all of our container options. And we are the first cloud to actually offer fully managed GPU drivers for all of the AI and ML workloads that need to run on containers. We're not only driving leadership in Kubernetes, we're also driving leadership in the broader open source community. Let's take a look at what that looks like. Well, we have over 500+ projects where Oracle is leading the open source community. We're the #1 contributor in Linux kernel with over 90,000 lines of code contributed. We're also contributing to the ecosystem, and we are not leading, either through technical contributions, project-level leadership, or being on boards to drive standards-based governance that ensures there is portability for you as you move your workloads across multiple clouds or even on-premises. We're also participating in doing community advocacy to drive the standards in many of the forums as well. That's just a glimpse of what Oracle is doing to build a thriving developer community in the industry. And lastly, there was an interesting announcement about RHEL, where it actually went behind closed source, but you can hear Oracle's commitment to Linux. We believe in a thriving open source and Linux community. We will keep Linux open and free. It is not going to have any paywall, and we accept downstream contributions. So Oracle is committing to ensuring that Linux remains open and free. Thank you, Vijay. All right, so with that, I'm going to hand off to Fred Meek, who's from Wiz. I'm super excited to welcome him and tell us the story about how they leveraged Oracle Cloud's portability standards to migrate into OCI. Thanks, Manish.
Hello, my name is Fred Meek, and I run our technical solutions organization at Wiz Security. For those that don't know about Wiz, hopefully we'll give you a little bit of insight of what we do. For those that are customers, thank you very much. So Wiz is a very innovative security platform covering all aspects of every workload within the cloud, as well as the cloud infrastructure. And so we do this very easily. So within 5 to 10 minutes, you can connect your entire cloud estate using cloud-native APIs, and so no agents, allowing you to see everything within that environment. We prioritize the risks for our customers, so we identify not only what you would think would be a risk from a networking risk, but what is that true toxic combination that can lead to a breach. So that helps, rather than overloading our security teams with alert fatigue, we can really identify and pinpoint those things that can lead to a breach. And of course, with real-time threat detection, not only can we see these things, but we can also stop them in their tracks. Obviously, with a security and a partnership with DevOps, we really seamlessly, I'd say, help those teams infuse security within this development pipeline, allowing developers to identify these things before they get pushed out to production and helping them secure it at really cloud speed. So a quick overview of how Wiz works. So once you're connected, again, we go through, run our multiple scans, identify all the different risks across the cloud. In this situation right here, you can see the blue dot in the middle is a virtual machine, and it has effective exposure to the cloud, meaning we've checked every security control along the way and proven out that this can actually be accessed from the internet. We've also noticed on this particular instance that it has a critical vulnerability attached to a known exploit. And you'll see that it's also has a role assigned to it that is overly permissive, allowing it to have access to a database, ultimately to PII data. So if a bad actor was able to exploit this, they'd have access to exfiltrate that PII data. And then to compound things, you also notice here there's an exposed secret. And this exposed secret is a lot of times will be left in from a developer on accident, and we can actually look at the lateral movement path across that environment and tell you exactly what that bad actor would be able to access. So Wiz has been labeled as the fastest growing software startup ever. And we're very, very proud of that. And how that's measured is really based on revenue. So from 1 million to 200 million in less than 2 years. We've also scanned and protected over 1 billion cloud resources for our customers, and also scanned 1 trillion files in that short period of time. We're trusted by over 35% of Fortune 100 companies. Feel very privileged that they trust us. And we, across really all verticals. So if you look at the slide here, you'll see tech giants like Salesforce, Snowflake. You'll see financial organizations like Morgan Stanley or Blackstone, and then the healthcare vertical as well, represented here by Pfizer. And all of these are extremely large cloud environments. So we're not just in a single vertical or segment, we're across every segment. And oh, by the way, every single of them have the same exact challenges. So with OCI's commitment to not only portability but open standards really helped us accelerate the ability to support our customers in OCI. And so, we share a lot of the same customers. You saw a lot of those logos. We, have large enterprise customers, and so supporting OCI relatively quickly was key to us, making sure that we can secure them through their cloud journey. And so with these open standards, we didn't have to go through the process of retraining our staff, right? So we were able to really accelerate this and start supporting our customers within 30 days, building out our connector, which is really unheard of, compared to the months that it would normally take through other cloud service providers. On top of that, we deploy in every single region of the cloud to make sure we can scan locally for our customers as well as within their environment if they choose. And so, OKE was instrumental in allowing us to do that as far as how easy it was to deploy, as well as with the automated, Kubernetes updates made it super simple. And of course, with distributed cloud offerings that OCI has, we follow our customers wherever they go. We don't choose their cloud, we don't choose their environment. So we want to make sure that we're there regardless of what they choose. So having public cloud as well as private gov cloud, as well as more of sovereign areas based on government controls as well as compliancy was key for us to not only allow them to scale and choose that cloud, but also to support them there. Our alignment with OCI's focus when it comes to security and speed align directly with what we're trying to do. If you look at public cloud in general, just as much as we have access to this cheap compute, so does bad actors as well. So we have to be able to stay fast and nimble and make sure that we're able to stay ahead of it. The support, I got to call out as far as OCI's support, and responsiveness for us to be able to support in that short period of time, being able to onboard our customers, leveraging their multi-tenancy API was critical. So we can bring a customer on literally in 5 to 10 minutes and support them through their cloud journey and making sure they stay secure along the way. So I know this was a few minutes of this session, to cover what we do. Hopefully you got a high-level understanding of what Wiz does, and obviously the strong partnership that we've established with OCI. So thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Fred. All right, you guys heard from Fred about how they leveraged our distributed cloud and the power of portability standards to really accelerate their journey on our cloud. Let's talk about the next part of building the application, which is the data. Data is the lifeblood of intelligent apps. And to build these intelligent apps, you need access to vast amounts of data. And you want the ability to work with the type of data that you need and the database of your choice. But first, let's take a look at the type of data that you need. You want to be able to work with any type of data, define graph, relational, in many cases JSON. It doesn't matter, because there are different kinds of apps that are powerful, and in many cases, developers have their own preferences. You want any type of workloads, be it analytical, be it transactional. You want to be able to build apps that truly give that end customer that phenomenal, really fast, sleek experience. Any development style. With cloud-native workloads, there is microservices, there's event-driven architectures, there's API-driven frameworks. There's a lot of different choices that you can actually do in development style. But how do you go pick the database of your choice? Well, at Oracle, we believe we want to give you the flexibility and choice. Now, obviously, we think Oracle Database is phenomenal, but we want to give you the flexibility and choice. So let's first look at what makes Oracle Database a great choice for developers. Database and data has been in Oracle's DNA for a very long time. It's been over 40 years. We've really innovated and worked with our developers to make that possible. But Oracle Database 23c is one of those databases that has been designed with developers in mind. It is at the center of how this release has been made. One is there are simple access for data as graphs. Another feature that I really like is actually supporting schema capabilities on top of your JSON interaction that ensures you can validate and make sure that the data that you're actually committing onto the database in a relational format is still accurate. But the most exciting feature in Oracle Database 23c is the simple unification of relational and JSON. Developers previously were forced to think about making choices between a relational database for performance or using a document database access model or a JSON access model for ease of use, so they don't have to worry about schemas as much. Well, with Oracle Database 23c, you don't have to make that trade-off. You can actually get the benefits of both relational and JSON in a single database that makes the life of a developer easy. Oracle Autonomous Database is one of the innovative, self-driving, self-patching databases that we've actually innovated over the last 2-3 years. And it is available in OCI, always free for all developers to try out. But today, we're also announcing a free container image with all of the Oracle Autonomous Database technologies that you can download and run anywhere of your choice. So you can play around, kick around, give us feedback, but this is available for download. We'll get you the link. It's great, but how do you take advantage of these Oracle Database innovations rapidly? And one of the core platforms that is actually inbuilt in an Oracle database is the Oracle Apex low-code application platform. It is super easy and simple for development. It's low code. It makes it easy for citizen developers to get started with almost no effort. And it is built once, and you can deploy it in any Oracle database running anywhere in any of the clouds, including Oracle Database at Azure. And it is completely free to use with Oracle Database. And I personally tried in my organization building a couple of apps, and we were able to get this out in a couple of weeks. It was pretty phenomenal. Okay, we also know you love open source databases. So let me run through a few choices that we actually offer. MySQL is the most popular open source database. And with MySQL, we are not only driving the community, but have made tremendous amount of innovations in bringing OLTP and analytics together in a single database. And we also announced today Lakehouse capabilities along with MySQL. This is first of its kind with phenomenal performance and extremely low cost for any database that is out there. And that's completely supported in Oracle. Another key feature that we really like is the ability for data scientists and ML engineers to directly interact with the data right next to the database. It's a very unique feature. Another cool technology that we're excited by, and we've heard from a lot of our customers who wanted PostgreSQL. So today we're announcing limited availability of OCI database with PostgreSQL that gives you higher performance. And one of the key things that exists in this offering is the ability for doing an optimized block storage offering. This is a phenomenally new innovation that we've built that gives you higher performance at extremely low cost. Once again, another choice of database that you can build with. We've embraced OCI Search before, but today we're announcing OCI Search with OpenSearch 2.8 that gives you advanced capabilities that comes with 2.8. But one of the key features that I really like in this release with 2.8 is the Neural Search plugin that enables you to run natural language style queries against the data that's stored in OpenSearch, and that's now supported on the service. And lastly, we're also announcing OCI Cache with the Redis service. Once again, it leverages the benefits of Oracle Cloud Infrastructure's price performance advantage and runs natively on OCI. All right, we took a look at the infrastructure. We took a look at the databases. We understood what it means to get plethora of choices on our containers for your application development. Let's dive into innovative languages and tools. Well, we've been the stewards of Java community for a very long time. We have over 63 billion active JVMs running worldwide. More than 70% of the enterprises run on Java. It is the most popular language today. And Oracle contributes over 70% plus to the enhancements, bug fixes to OpenJDK to drive the community forward and ensure we're meeting our customer needs. And we're evolving Java to address future application development needs. And today, we're announcing Java 21 LTS. It comes packed with a ton of capabilities and features. First is features Amber and Loom that is focused on improving developer productivity and evolutions in the Java language that makes it easy for you to write Java code. Second is making it easy to massively scale lightweight threads so you don't have to do thread management anymore, so it makes concurrency simple again. The second set of capabilities are Panama and Valhalla, which is primarily focused on data-intensive applications and AI/ML workloads for you to do high throughput. And lastly, we will not stop working on performance in Java, and so there's thousands of capabilities and features and enhancements that have been added to Java 21 focused on performance, stability, and security. It's super exciting. Okay, we learned the language, but what about the runtime? Well, Oracle once again has innovated in the runtime capabilities by offering an advanced JDK that brings ahead of time compilation directly into Java. And what does that deliver for you? It delivers fast startup times, extremely low CPU and memory because you have ahead of time compilation, and it allows you to package your software effectively in an image that gives you an improved security posture of knowing what those dependencies are. And lastly, it runs on all clouds, and it is supported by all major frameworks. And customers who use GraalVM have seen tremendous performance benefits with this technology. It's great. We went from a language to a runtime. Let's talk about frameworks. How do I actually now move to using services and interacting and make it easy for me to write code? Well, Graal Cloud Native is a curated open source framework that makes it easy for you to write efficient Java microservices. I'm just going to take a quick example to explain this to you. On the left, very complex code, is a standard OCI SDK to reading a secret from a vault. Well, let's see how that looks like with Graal Cloud Native. It is a simple string annotation to do something as simple as reading a secret from a vault, just fundamentally simplifying the ability for you to write and interact with our platform. Okay, so we looked at language, runtime, framework. Let's talk about how do you build a Java application and scale it at the container level. Well, today we're excited to announce GraalOS technology that comes out of the Oracle Research Group, specifically built on GraalVM and Graal Cloud Native, leveraging fundamental pillars of isolation technologies that exist in Java and connecting them to native hardware security isolation. This is a phenomenal improvement in innovation that is coming out for all developers who are used to building on Java. And the benefits of Java, benefits of GraalOS technology shows up as rapid scale, running on demand, almost no startup time, leverages hardware-enforced application isolation, and can meet both stateful and stateless microservices. Well, we didn't stop at just announcing the technology. We actually went and integrated that as a data plane for our OCI function service, which is a stateless microservice, as you probably know. And what we saw was benefits of cost savings in the order of about 50% lesser memory, extremely low startup time, and we certainly believe that it's going to fundamentally improve your developer productivity as you build native images and use them as an interaction model for functions. Well, let's take a look at these features in action through a demo.
In this demo, let's take a look at how GraalOS makes OCI functions cheaper, faster, with lightning-fast application startup times. In this example, we're working with an OCI function that leverages the OCI Document Understanding Service to extract text and key information from images. A great tool for automating the processing of receipts, scanned printouts, government identification, and a whole lot more. We're starting with the function that requires 512 megabytes of memory to ingest and process the requested image using the pre-trained AI models that are built into OCI Document Understanding. Now, let's invoke the function. That took about 3.8 seconds. Quick, but almost half the time was spent on startup latency. With GraalOS, we can do better, a lot better. Let's create a new function based on the existing one. This time, we'll recompile our function using GraalOS native image. And since GraalOS uses targeted compression and compiles everything I need ahead of time, I only require 256 megabytes of memory, half as much as before. Great, we're ready to invoke the function again and see the difference. And it's already done, finishing in just 1.9 seconds. And look, nearly all the elapsed time was spent on executing my app. GraalOS cut my function execution time in half. And thanks to GraalOS, my function was much smaller and completely pre-compiled. No need to wait for Java's just-in-time compilation. GraalOS also brings virtualization advancements to functions that make it possible for OCI to pull and run functions containers faster than ever before.
Hopefully that gave you a glimpse of what the technology is capable of and what it can do. With all of these advancements in the language and phenomenal technology that marries itself to OCI native services, hopefully you believe that Oracle is the best place to come and run Java. All right, we talked about Java and languages, but what if I wanted to leverage other services and compose an end-to-end application that includes all of this, including my data tier? How do I actually stop moving away from managing Terraform code and doing all of this integration between a streaming service and a data service and a Java application service? How do you achieve high availability across all of these services while still meeting the security and compliance needs for your application? Well, we're introducing Project Atlas. Project Atlas is aimed at building an efficient, scalable PaaS layer that makes it easy for you to build composable applications leveraging many different primitives to make it possible. In Project Atlas, we want to make it easy for you to define APIs and actually help that run as a service. We want to integrate the DevOps processes natively into the Project Atlas framework that makes it easy for you to deploy and manage this at scale in the cloud. And we want to bring built-in compliance and security guardrails that ensures you don't have to deal with the infrastructure level security that you do today. And it also will give you out-of-the-box observability to enable high availability and monitor your apps running on this framework. Well, Project Atlas is a platform as a service layer to quickly develop and deploy services across the entire OCI estate. It is going to give you access to API frontends, container runtimes, integration with data tiers, a framework for workflows, and many other capabilities that makes it easy for you to run enterprise-grade microservices at scale. All right, we talked about the innovation in languages. Let's dive into AI. I'm sure most of you are super excited to hear about what we're doing. Well, when you think about AI, it starts with building a great infrastructure. I gave you an experience about why the RDMA technology and what we're doing with our superclusters powers some of the most powerful supercomputers for AI. So That's our GPU infrastructure offering. Customers and many ML and AI startups today are already running on our GPU infrastructure. Second, today we announced the OCI Generative AI service in limited availability, where you can get early access and start playing around with what is possible. Third, we announced a series of capabilities across our applications portfolio, deeply assisted and integrated with the generative AI. Well, what's the generative AI advantage for Oracle? One, it is designed for enterprise. It is focused on keeping your data isolated. It is ensuring that the data that you bring in is actually isolated from another customer, and predictable performance and pricing. Lastly, what is the problem for generative AI for developers? I personally believe it's two things. One, continued model innovation that solves the developer problem end to end. Now, generative AI does a lot of interesting things, but how do you take it to a level where you can declare and talk and say, I would like to build an end-to-end microservice doing something, and I would like to integrate with an existing service. It needs to get a long way to get there. Well, I have Saurabh Baji from Cohere, SVP of Engineering, who's going to talk you through the model innovation that we're working together on.
Thank you so much, Mahesh. Hello, everyone. Super excited to be here. For those of you who don't know Cohere, we are at the forefront of generative AI. Our co-founder and CEO, Aidan Gomez, was one of the key authors of the Attention is All You Need paper that really started all of this generative AI revolution back in 2017. He started the company Cohere in 2019 to really help democratize access to this fantastic, incredible, powerful technology called transformers. So what do we do at Cohere? At Cohere, we build our own large language models entirely from scratch. One type are the generative models that give intelligent human-like responses, and the other are representational or embeddings that give you things like impressively accurate semantic search in over 100 languages. And as you know, these models are available for you to use on the Oracle Cloud Gen AI service right today. But what do LLMs mean for you, specifically as developers? For your job, you're not looking to write a great essay. You're not trying to generate jokes or poems. You're not writing marketing copy. You need these models to help you develop and maintain applications. You need quick experimentation with accurate and reliable code. And that's exactly our vision, to help you go seamlessly from idea to execution, to truly execute at the speed of thought using our world-leading AI. So what if you could just go from thought to code? If you're like me, you're multilingual in many senses. You're a global citizen working on code for clients across the world. You think and interact in different human languages, and you code in multiple computer languages. So when I code, I want to express my thoughts in my language of choice and have code appear in my language of choice. Reversing a linked list is like a rite of passage. So let me ask a model to give Python code to do exactly that in Hinglish, which is this peculiar mix of Hindi and English that's very common in India. And watch it produce perfect Python code. It understands Hinglish, it's able to interpret it, it's able to produce the code. But what if I wanted to convert this to Java? Well, I can just tell it, aur ab Java mein batao, which is exactly the same thing in Hinglish, saying just give me the same thing in Java. And it takes just a moment to produce exactly that. You'll also see that it actually gives you a reference, a citation, to tell you where it got parts of the code from. If you're doing this on your own code base, it can actually quote code snippets from your own code base. So imagine this and more, where our models help you refine and auto-complete your code. Let's say we want to switch from English to Japanese. We're asking the model now to produce the min of 2 numbers. It understands that it's just a continuation from before. Even though we asked it in Japanese, it's continuing to produce code in Java. But it feels a bit like cheating because it's using the inbuilt min function to compute the min of 2 numbers. So we can just ask it, go back and forth to modify the code. So we're just asking it to not use the inbuilt min function. And it's able to just replace that particular line of code to do exactly what you asked. And so you can use this to craft and create applications iteratively and interactively. But maybe SQL is really your language of choice. So what if you could just think in natural language and actually have the model generate SQL for you? This is a simple table. You're going to ask it to give us shipments from a particular city. It maintains context, so when you ask for something else to be added, it knows exactly which field to add this to. Let's ask something a little bit more complicated, so it's able to use another SQL function. And so it goes. So you can just interactively converse with the model to be able to get exactly what you want in your language of choice. But all of this was for new code. Rarely do we get the luxury of only writing new code. So much of our life is dealing with existing code, and that means going from code to comments or explanation rather than just comments to code. So in this case, if you're going to give the model a simple code snippet and ask us to explain that back to us. So as you can see, fairly simple. Let's see what the model does with it. It's able to tell us, this is a C++ program, that it generates the Fibonacci series. It even tells you the meaning of each variable and what every line in the program does. And finally, it even gives you the actual answer based on the execution. We want our models to let you understand, help you understand entire code bases, to let you search through millions of files to get exactly the tiny snippet of code that you are looking for. We want them to help you migrate code from one language to another. At the same time, translate the comments from one human language to another, if you so prefer. But best of all, we think our large language models really let you code in your unique style. With our customization and fine-tuning, the model uses your existing data, your existing code, to learn how you do things, and then act literally as an extension of you. So for example, if you use a particular time library, the model will prefer to use that for time functions rather than whatever default was maybe present in its training. And it does so privately. Your data and the fine-tuned model both stay inside your security boundary. And the generation happens in an optimized manner for the best cost efficiency. So in the most optimal way possible, you can generate code, you can modify code, you can have it become more efficient, you can even have it become more secure. We want to have the model scan your code automatically so that it can discover vulnerabilities and even tell you the fixes. But best of all, our vision is to help you take this from coding to execution. Remember the Fibonacci execution where it gave you the answer? Why stop there? We want the model to actually give you the ability to build and execute an entire application just with natural language instructions, to help you integrate with other APIs, get end-to-end automation. So you're not just coding, you're truly generating an application just by imagining it. So you can go from needing to do everything yourself from scratch to simply executing at the speed of thought. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Saurabh. Well, that is super exciting. I talked to Saurabh about a month and a half ago to start training models on some of this data, and you just see some of the output. It's actually phenomenal progress. Now let's talk a little bit about making generative AI enterprise ready for customers and what we're doing to make your life easy at Oracle Cloud. We're announcing a generative AI service, and one of the key things that we talked about earlier is giving you that ability to run your workloads and your data against dedicated clusters where it's not shared. We're going to make it easy for you to host your own custom models and train your own models that is very dependent on you. We're going to allow you to host endpoints that apps can actually interact with. And we want to start with solving some basic and fundamental problems that developers face today. And this is something that we're going to announce today, is solving for automated test case generation. Nobody likes writing test code. We want to make that simple. We want to make it easy for you to upgrade your code. A lot of times you get code through a transition, an M&A, or a code because a developer left the team or the company, but you want to understand or move or translate that code. So we're going to focus on a basic set of use cases that truly generative AI can actually help you today. And with that, we're announcing a plugin ecosystem for Code Editor, for Visual Studio, and others to ensure you can start with OCI Generative AI Service. And second, with Code Editor integration, you can actually play with Generative AI Service directly in the OCI console. With that, let's take a quick look at what this looks like. The demo.
This demo showcases our generative AI service that can help increase your productivity by leveraging Cohere's large language models running natively on Oracle Cloud. Let's first look at how this code works using our new plugin that integrates the generative AI service and Microsoft Visual Studio Code. In this example, we start with a Python script that needs to be converted to Java to align with the rest of our codebase. Notice how the generative AI assistant is already installed in Visual Studio Code. First, we want to understand what this code does. We simply highlight the Python code, right-click, and explain the section. All right, so this calculates pi. Next, let's convert it to Java. Again, we simply highlight the code, right-click, and click on Translate. And now we pick Java. And the generative AI service responds with a neat piece of Java code. Let's save this for later. Now, let's deploy this code as a serverless app running on OCI Functions. Here, we'll continue our work in OCI Code Editor since it's fully integrated with OCI Functions. And since we've already checked the code into Git powered by OCI DevOps, it's easy to pull it up in Code Editor and continue where we left off. And look, the Generative AI plugin is available and ready to go. Now, before we deploy this function, let's first make sure that the code meets our quality bar. I'll highlight the code, right-click, and select Refactor. And the Generative AI service pointed out that I should replace my while loop with a for loop. That certainly makes my code easier to read. I like this change, so let's copy it over. Next, my code needs some comments so others can maintain it too. Let's highlight the code, right-click, and annotate the selection. Great, let's copy over these changes also. Finally, I can't ship any code without proper tests. Let's get some help from the Generative AI service. Highlight the code, right-click, and we select Generate Tests. Now that I have suitable tests, I'm ready to add them to the repository and start deploying my function.
Hopefully that gave you a glimpse of learning and trying OCI Generative AI Service, especially for developer use cases. Okay? At Oracle, we believe in providing support for AI at every layer of the stack for you to build your intelligent applications. Be it AI for applications, AI for developers, AI for data scientists, like I talked about in MySQL HeatWave, and AI at the infrastructure level, powering more advanced use cases. And just to give you an idea, these are all the product announcements that we made across the fundamental pillars on flexible infrastructure, databases, innovative language and tools, and lastly, AI infused across for your entire application. Come build the future with Oracle.